Did you ever have a hankering for chocolate and not a chocolate bar inside your home or apartment? Did you ever want to give someone that you love a gift of chocolate or something homemade that would really fit the bill? Let me tell you something. I turned to this simple recipe because, first of all, I'm not a baker. I am not a baker by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that I could put these wonderful brownies together. And the beauty part is that when I buy the ingredients for these brownies, for example, I could generate so many brownies from the recipes. I buy the chocolate morsels when they are on sale. And by the way, they are optional, just for the record. I buy the crushed walnuts. I get the better price on them. Again, optional. Do not need them at all. So I'm trying to keep the cost down for these simple brownies. And by the way, you could put everything in one bowl. But the one thing that I totally recommend, and I have noticed this with certain recipes, even like if I do certain like breads, like a banana bread or something, I have noticed when I work with room temperature eggs, it seems to come out better. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. So when I do that, I'm telling you. And to me, these are low cost ingredients, and the chocolate morsels and the crushed walnuts are absolutely optional. You do not need it. So I'm just going to give you the basic brownie recipe that I really, really love. And somebody reminded me that they were looking for the list of ingredients. I don't know what happened to the other video that I did, but I did do one a while back, and I have no problem re explaining it again. Of course, you're going to preheat your oven to 350. You'll need an 8 by 8 pan. And if you want to line it up with parchment paper to make your life easier. All right. So here's what I do. I don't use butter. I work with non flavored oil. To me, that is so cheap, so inexpensive. I like to save my butter for spreading, let's say, on a piece of toast. That's me. All right. Especially with the prices of certain things. So I find for me it's much more economical and frugal to work with like a non-flavored oil. Vegetable oil does not have much of a flavor, so I'm okay with that. Or if you have canola or something like that. All right. So what I like to do is get a bowl, usually my stainless steel mixing bowl, and I put into it 1/4 cup of the oil. Just a quarter of a cup. It's not that much at all. To that, I add a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. So unsweetened cocoa powder. All right. Then to that, I mix it very well by the way. Let mix nicely. And then to that, I add 1 cup of white granulated sugar. Now, as mentioned earlier, I like to work with eggs at room temperature. For me, it seems to work out better. Like I said, if anybody else noticed that, let me know in the comment section below. So 2 eggs at room temperature. So I crack open those eggs and I make sure there's nothing wrong with them. You could check in a separate little bowl. Then you could throw it into the bowl with the oil and the cocoa powder and the sugar. Put that in. Don't forget to poke the yolk, right? And then, of course, you mix that in. And vanilla. I like to use 1 capful of vanilla extract. All right. Now, here's where I think this is so economical. It only requires 1/2 a cup of white all-purpose flour. That's it. 1/2 a cup. That is not a lot of flour. And I enter a half a teaspoon of salt. Again, the optional part. You could add about a handful or half a cup or quarter cup of either or both of the walnuts or chocolate chip. Honestly, it tastes great without them. That's how good this recipe is. It is so good. Maybe want to throw a handful of chocolate chips or just the walnuts or just nothing because we're trying to keep the cost down. You're not using expensive butter. You're using oil. You're not using a ton of flour at all whatsoever. So to me, this is one of the most economic versions of a brownie I've ever seen. Now, Here's a trick. Ovens vary. Going to bake it off at 350 degrees, okay? And I think for my oven, I start checking at about 17 minutes. For me and for my oven, I turn it off at 18. You are better off, in my experience making these, not going too long because you don't want a cookie. You want a brownie. So for me or for you, you just check to see how it works. But for my oven, 17 to 18 minutes is perfect. Then, of course, you let it cool. And of course, you cut it into squares. By the way, these brownies, in my opinion, freeze beautifully. So when you cut them up into little squares, you don't want to have a whole bunch of brownies in your life. No, maybe you don't mind having 2 or 3 or 4 squares for the whole weekend and then freezing the rest and just, spreading it out throughout the month. Because, maybe, watching your calories, your sugar, or whatever it is, or you just don't want to be in temptation's way. Now, these make a great gift for any of these chocolate holidays that come up. I call Valentine's Day a chocolate holiday, which is pretty funny. And obviously, with this week, before you know, okay, today when I'm airing this is actually Super Bowl Sunday. I'm airing this on Super Bowl Sunday of 2025. But if you're listening to this in July of 2026 and you get a craving for chocolate, to have the oven on for that short of a period of time, even in the summer, it doesn't break the bank. It doesn't make your kitchen too hot because it's not on that long. I mean, there are just so many reasons for this. And I do love the one bowl feature. You do not have to use a lot of bowls, okay? Some people, I don't know what it is, maybe they're just used to using so many utensils and whatever. For me, I try to make things as simplistic as possible. And I do love working with the stainless steel mixing bowls. They make life so much easier. What you're going to find with this particular brownie is you're going to feel as if you're a baking expert, even if you're not. I am not a baking expert. So I'm just telling you this. I'm so confident with these. That's the reason why I like to share this recipe. And with the oil, to me, it's just so much simpler than working with butter, which many people do many times. But with this, they come out so really, really moist, and they make a really, really good gift. Well, thank you so much for being here. And with all these, little chocolate holidays coming up, even towards Easter time, you may want to bake some brownies and wrap them up and put them in an Easter basket for your, friends or your loved ones, your family, and all that stuff. So this is a good gift, very economical. Half a cup of flour, really? Seriously? That's not a lot. If you could get your oil on sale, if you get your cocoa powder, all these things would probably be great if they were in your pantry. In my case, they were. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to whip these up. I'm just going to whip these up for Valentine's Day and have a couple for the Super Bowl Sunday. Why not? All right, everybody. And by the way, for Super Bowl Sunday, I'm going to make deviled eggs. I'm going to make a homemade pizza. To me, that's just enough for a little bit of a celebration. So whoever your team is, I hope you win. And wishing everyone a wonderful day, no matter what you do. Even if you're just by yourself hanging out watching TV. Got a lot of snow here tonight. Well, it seems like a lot. Hopefully it'll melt down real, real fast. Have a great night and a great day and all that good stuff. Take good care of yourself and your wonderful family. Thank you.